Và tiếp theo, trước khi chúng ta cùng đi vào các cái chi tiết về mặt dữ liệu, về mặt khai thác dữ liệu thì chúng ta hãy cùng phóng tầm nhìn ra thế giới để xem là Martech 2025 trên thế giới đang có những làn sóng gì. Và phần chia sẻ này sẽ đến với anh Keanu Taylor, Global Head of Research đến từ The Martech Weekly. So we'd like to welcome me to Keanu Taylor, Global Head of Research at the Martech Weekly to state. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the warm introduction. Thanks everyone for being here. I'm really excited to be here in Vietnam. This is my first time in Vietnam and first time in Ho Chi Minh. Thank you. I'm learning a lot about Martech here. The Martech scene in Vietnam has been really impressive. As Long was saying, so much digitization happening in the economy at the moment, and there's this massive opportunity around Martech to make the most of that digitization. So I'm going to talk today about the fifth wave of Martech, the autonomous era of Martech. So before I do that, firstly, as Amy said, my name is Keanu Taylor. I'm the Global Head of Research at the Martech Weekly. We are a global research company focused purely on marketing technology. So we have subscribers and members in more than 65 different countries, including Vietnam, of course. And our business is partly editorial, so we publish newsletters and we try and help brands make sense of Martech. And we also do events like this, but in different parts of the world. So we have our Martech World Forum event series, which is in Melbourne, Singapore, London, New York, and San Francisco. So I've been very fortunate to work with some of the biggest global agencies in the world, some of the biggest consultancies in the world, and my whole career has been focused on Martech. So I've been working in marketing technology for the last 12 years, working with some of the biggest brands. You'll see down here, some of them are sort of more Australian specific brands, but basically my whole career, the mission has been to help brands make sense of Martech. So this is a picture of a very special place to me. So this is Port Fairy in Victoria. And this is where I learnt to surf 25 years ago. And the man in the picture down here, this is my dad. So he is the man that taught me how to surf. And the reason I've put this picture up is because when I think of waves of change, and Martech continually goes through these big waves of change, I think back to this time in my life, learning to surf. And one of the overwhelming feelings that I felt as a child looking up at these big waves was fear. I was scared to surf. I was scared of the waves. So I think for a lot of people in marketing, the waves of change can strike fear into their heart. There can be fear, or FUD, as we call it. So fear, uncertainty, and doubt. We've got FOMO, so fear of missing out on something that someone else is experiencing. Fear of exposure, so fear that some change in marketing technology could expose you or your company. There's fear of obsolescence, so fear that some investment that you've made in technology might become obsolete in the future. And especially in this autonomous era of Martech, there's a fear of obsolescence of people as well. Is this technology here to replace people? Are we going to be obsolete? So we're on the cusp of a wave. AI agents, autonomous Martech, we're moving into this new wave of Martech. But first, I wanted to look at the previous waves of Martech, which have sort of brought us to this point. Who has seen this chart before? Anyone? So this is the number of Martech platforms available in the world today. And as you can see, over time, it has exploded. So now in 2025, there's more than 15,000 different Martech platforms available. So this massive increase in technology has been pushed along by these waves of change. So the first wave was the foundational era of Martech. So this is before 1999. We had the internet, email, websites, as we started to make marketing, or we started to digitize much of the marketing processes. And then in 1999, Salesforce came along and it changed the game. So it changed, Martech moved into the browser. It was all about cloud computing, and instead of having everything on premise, these things were moving into the cloud. Up next, we had the suite era. So we moved from the SaaS era to the suite era. And the suite era was about the big Martech, marketing suites, the Salesforce suites, Adobe, Oracle. And this era was all about one word: omnichannel. So suddenly, with smartphones and social media, we have all of these new channels, so marketing channels, and we have all of this data that we have to manage. And this created a problem for marketers. Suddenly, there was this question of, how do I manage customer experience across so many different channels? So omnichannel was this idea that first came out in 2010. And then we saw these big Martech suites. They started to buy other platforms. So IBM bought Unica, Oracle acquired Eloqua and Responses, and Salesforce bought ExactTarget. There were a lot of other examples as well, but they were building these big monolithic Martech suites to solve the problem of omnichannel. And then something happened in 2018. Can anyone guess? I'll give you a clue. It happened in Brussels, in Belgium. Any takers? Okay, it's GDPR. So GDPR came into force in 2018, and it drastically changed how we do marketing, not just in Europe. Of course, now in Vietnam, you have PDPD and then PDPL. It's these regulations which are starting to look a lot like GDPR. So this new focus on data privacy brought in the composability era. So the composability era is all about data privacy, security. A lot of it is based around cloud data warehouses. So again, this bringing things into the cloud. So this era really became real in 2020 when Gartner first referenced the term composability. But of course, it started way back in 2013. The technical underpinnings of this era started when Amazon released the first sort of scaled cloud data warehouse, which was Redshift. And it was around this time that marketers started to talk very differently. So this is a piece of research by a company called Keanu, and they tracked how Martech media was talking about marketing technology. And as you can see, there's this inflection point in 2020 where marketers stopped talking about platforms and Martech stacks and technology investments, and instead they started talking about data privacy, data security, so and advanced analytics as well. So this was a time when we really started to change how we talk about data and marketing. So that's a trip down memory lane, a little history lesson. But what is the fifth wave of Martech? If you've tuned into a Salesforce webinar recently, it's a little hard to miss.
Agentic marketing. In a world of agentic marketing, AI agent can go in agent. In this case, I'm talking to agentic marketing. How agentic marketing is an AI.
Okay, I think everyone gets the point. It's all about AI agents, agentic marketing, autonomous technology. So this fifth era of Martech that we're starting to move into, I call it the autonomous era. And it's about delegation of parts of the marketing process to trusted machines. So this all really kicked off in November 2022. So on the 30th of November, ChatGPT was released, and suddenly there was this massive fascination with artificial intelligence. And since then, we're starting to see more of the technical underpinnings of this era sort of come to be. So one of the first ones is AI agents and the infrastructure. So it's not just the AI agents itself, but you've also got protocols for agents to talk together. There's a lot of infrastructure that sits around this. Next is LLMs and AI engines. So ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, there's a lot of other different examples, but these are the things that really captured the public's imagination around AI. We've got agentic commerce. So AI agents and autonomous technology isn't just for brands, it's also for consumers. So for example, Amazon Buy For Me. So consumers can now use Amazon to go and do their shopping for them online. And the same with Google Shopping AI mode and Perplexity Shopping as well. And then the last one is multimodal capability. This is the last key technical foundation for this next era. So if the previous eras of Martech were all about structured data, then the autonomous era is all about the mix of structured and unstructured data as well, and in any modality. So, we're talking about audio, video, text, any type of data. So, you're probably thinking, that's all very interesting and very technical, but what does it mean for me? As a marketer, what are my opportunities and what are my challenges? Let's start with opportunities. So the first one is a redistribution of technology and labor. And this doesn't just mean getting rid of people or firing employees. That is not the message at all. There's sort of three ways you can think about this. One is, of course, you can do the same with less. So achieve the same output, but with less labor input. So for example, recently, Microsoft has laid off 6,000 people and they think they'll lay off more people because they think AI can do the job. So that is one option. The second is to do more with the same. So rather than losing people and reducing your labor input, you're actually achieving more with the people that you have already. So an example of this is Shopify. So Shopify now has a policy where you can't hire or add to your headcount unless you can prove that AI can't do the job first. And then the third option is do more with more. So we don't see too much of this out there in the market, but the idea is that AI is giving people the ability to scale the impact of their employees. So why not bring on more people and get magnitudes of greater output from them? So those are the three options here. The next, supercharging creativity and content velocity. So the creative and content process was one of the last parts of the marketing process to be automated and to be scaled up. But the role of these technologies like generative AI, it changes the role of copywriters, people who are writing copy, changes the role of art directors, videographers. Suddenly they can prototype creative ideas in seconds, and they can iterate quickly to create something which in the past would take them months. And then once you've got this creative idea, turning it into content and content assets for different formats. So different people, you can personalizing content down to the individual. That is also massively scaled in the age of the autonomous era of Martech. As you could have seen in the video behind me, this person has taken a picture of their product, a piece of perfume, put it into a video, and now they can change it into all of these AI avatars in seconds. So this is just a massive change. The last one, so delivering true personalization. So personalization, we talk about a lot as marketers, but most companies, they don't do true personalization. Most companies do some form of personalization, but this is where autonomous era Martech and AI technologies are really changing how things work. AI is great at pattern matching. It can churn through millions of points of data, and it can actually deliver these really contextually relevant pieces of communication and customer experience for your customers. So it's moving from basic segmentation and moving towards predictive intelligence at a one-to-one level. So, if they're the opportunities, what are the challenges? The first one is talent and hiring. Digital skills are here, and this is where they need to be. We have a massive digital skills gap. This is true in every part of the world. When it comes to AI, I'm calling it an AI skills chasm. It's even wider apart between where we are and where we need to be in terms of talent. So there's some research to back this up as well. Section recently did some analysis and found that only 10% of the enterprise workforce, so 10% of enterprise employees, are AI proficient. 1 in 10. And it's particularly pronounced in marketing, where 76% of marketers believe there is a talent gap in terms of AI. So talent is going to be one of the big challenges. The next is control. So the autonomous era, the idea is that you're delegating control to trusted machines. But what happens when those machines get it wrong? So we've seen some funny examples already. Air Canada, their chatbot agreed a price for a ticket with a customer, which that price just did not exist, and they had to pay them out. McDonald's used an AI order taker, which was mishearing customers and ordering bacon-flavored ice cream and hundreds of dollars of chicken nuggets. And then again with another chatbot example. So someone tricked General Motors chatbot into giving them a car for $1. So this idea of control is a challenge. Last is, of course, with the theme, staying in compliance, data chaos, so data privacy and ethics as well. So we're already seeing examples of where companies are trying to use AI and LLMs, but in the case of Samsung, they fed all their customer data into an AI platform, which is not an acceptable use of data. So there's more data privacy challenges here as well. And it's not just privacy as well, it's ethics. So AI and autonomous decision-making technology, it could be like humans. It can be biased, it can discriminate, and it can make wrong decisions. And part of the challenge is there's a lack of explainability. How do I explain the decisions that some of this technology is making? That is going to be one of the big challenges of the autonomous era. So, it's all about timing. So, I think one of the things to keep in mind is the autonomous era of Martech it's still being developed. This technology is not 100% there. It's still getting better. But the question is, when will it be good enough? So, for example, Salesforce did a piece of research, their research lab, the other day, which said they tested AI agents for single-step workflows, for just one step, and for multi-step workflows as well. And the success rate for single-step was 53%, and for multi-step, it was only 35%. So a lot of companies will think, okay, well, I've got people that work for me who do it 99%. Why would I switch? Why would I use this? And I think the answer is it's all about timing. We might not be there yet, but the tech vendors and the platforms are investing so heavily in this technology to make it better, faster, cheaper. So again, the question is one of timing. And I guess it sort of reframes this question of how do I adopt Martech, or how do I adopt autonomous era Martech, to when do I adopt it? When is the right time? So I'll finish with some advice for the autonomous era. Number one, practice discipline. So we have this character at the Martech Weekly called Shiny Object Ollie. And Shiny Object Ollie loves shiny things, including AI and new technology. But, the idea around discipline is start with, what are your objectives? What are you trying to achieve? What are your use cases? That has to be at the core of every decision that you make about technology. Number two, design for trust. So consumer trust in the age of AI and autonomous decision making, it's a commodity that brands will need to cherish and need to look after. Consumer trust will separate good brands and great brands from failed brands. And number three, invest in organizational readiness. So, as I said, these technologies are still improving. They're still taking time to get better and mature. It means you've got time to invest in your people, get the right talent, fix your data chaos, build the right operating model around your Martech. So, back to the surfing metaphor. So this is me last year in Barbados. I still surf to this day, and I obviously overcame my fear of surfing. And the thing that really helped me overcome that fear was one thing. So my dad would always say, it's all about timing. If you want to skip a wave, you can skip a wave. But when you go for it, you have to go for it. So it's much like the autonomous era of Martech. You don't want to miss the wave, but you also don't want to go too early and have it crash down on your head. So that is me for today. Thank you so much for having me, and a massive thank you to AKA Digital for inviting me to speak. If you'd like to learn more, come if you'd like to learn more about the Martech Weekly, come to me, and I can sign you up for our newsletter. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Keanu, for very sharp and looking views of where the Martech is heading in 2025.